Attracting investment is probably the most difficult part of startup activity. Entrepreneurs who have investors on board signal credibility to the outside world that there are others beside them who believe that their idea is worthwhile, worth investing into, and to be taken seriously. Investors benefit entrepreneurs in many ways, not just from their financial input, but from their contracts and industry experience, all of which can open doors to new opportunities and get the venture moving forward much quicker. Investors have high expectations. They are experienced and wary, but also actively wanting to invest to multiply their wealth. To learn how to pitch properly, look at yourself through the eyes of an investor. Imagine 20 years from now, you are an angel investor sitting on a judging panel. It's the final pitch of the day and you have one last offer to make. To your surprise, in walks in a younger version of you from 20 years ago to pitch an idea. Ask yourself the question, would you invest in yourself? If you had $100,000 in cash, which you saved, could put your children through university, do you keep that cash in a savings account? Or would you invest that amount in your idea today? Would you trust that younger version of you to turn around your 100,000, make it into 200,000 quickly enough? Would it be a safe bet? Would you use it smartly, work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop, not even taking a salary to the time the promised returns were delivered? Investors have hard choices to make with personal financial consequences. They have a multitude of things to judge in a very brief amount of time. To learn how to transfer wealth from their bank account into yours, you will need to learn the craft of pitching.
Hey, Punita.
Why is it important to understand the investor's perspective to learn the craft of pitching?
Well, miming Shakespeare here. To invest or not to invest, that is the question. Imagine you are an investor and have three possible destinations for your cash. In the first case, you have a firm where the present value is 10 million, investment needed is 2 million, the returns promised are kind of medium. Then you have case 2, present value 5 million, half a million required, investment promised is high in terms of return on investment. And then you have the third case, 2.5 million present value, investment required 0.75 million, and returns promised are small. Looking at the financial dimensions only, which one seems most attractive?
The second one?
The second one seems most attractive? Yes, I think it does make sense, because as an investor, what you're looking for is the least amount of investment. In this case, is $500,000 with the highest possible returns. But then, let's bring in the non-financial dimensions into this. So the person pitching the business in case 1 is a married man, 45 years old, has 3 children, the wife is a homemaker, current job is middle management, end of career, £150,000 a year salary, has got personal savings, $500,000. Why does this person want to start up the business? End of career in the company, can't go any higher up. In the second case, which was your preferred case, where you felt as an investor, you put your money into, you've got a single lady, she's a student, 23-year-old, she's got 5,000 saved up, her only work experience comes from a student job, which paid 10,000 a year, and she's entrepreneurial, opportunity driven. But look at the third case now. You've got a married man, 65 years old, post-retirement, 1 million saved up. And why is this individual wanting to set up the business? Because they are bored at home. Now looking at the non-financial dimensions, which one seems most attractive?
First one.
The first one. Yes, I would agree with you there. You've got to think about, out of these 3 individuals, who has the greatest potential? The drive, the experience, knowledge, energy. Who will work tirelessly to make sure that you as your investor get your money back and more? Who will not run off with your money and then buy a Porsche for themselves? Option A, appears to be a safe bet for an investor, even though the proportion between investment sought and the returns promised are not as attractive as option B. Now, why is this the case? Because option A has the best possible chances of delivering medium returns rather than you losing your investment. So, would you rather get medium returns and keep your investment, or would you rather gamble on somebody who is promising high returns but may not be able to deliver? They might think to themselves, maybe option B, being young and at the beginning of her career, has no personal stake in the business. At the most, she can put 5,000 into the business, her full savings. So she has no skin in the game, nothing to lose in case of a failure. Okay, what if after 6 months she decides, right, this is too hard for me, I can't do this anymore, and walks away? As an investor, what are you going to do then? You can't force your investee to stay into the venture when they want to leave and wrap up. You will be left hamstrung. Um, you've got to think about, has this individual hired and fired employees? Can they negotiate high value government contracts? Will people take them seriously if they have no work experience in the area? So when we start to think like an investor, we can fine tune our pitch so that we can project the required personal and professional qualities, say the right things about the new venture, and present this information in a right way to enable the investor to make a decision. We must remember, for an investor, it is both you, the person behind the investment, and the idea. It's two things. It's not just the idea. They value the idea, but they value the person behind the idea, in quite a lot of instances, a lot more.
What qualities are investors looking for in entrepreneurs?
It would be a whole range of qualities, Punita, the chief of which would be high levels of integrity. Investors are looking to deal with people who are professional, who are reliable, who are trustworthy, and who would be good partners to them, who would not do anything to jeopardize the investment or their reputations for that matter. Now, how do you signal integrity in a pitch that lasts 15 odd minutes as an investee, as somebody who's pitching to an investor who have maybe never met you? They don't know anything about you. Probably they have not even looked at your resume, so they don't know you. You can't just stand in front of them and say, look, I have a lot of integrity. That might actually go against you. Here the power of first impressions becomes fully evident. The way to do it is to evidence a track record of professional behavior at the highest ethical standards, a no compromise attitude on professional values, and this you do with your body language and eye contact on the day and through examples of how you handle professionally challenging situations. And then you also need to show passion. You have to show commitment, experience, leadership, realism, coachability. No investor wants to deal with someone who is not willing to listen to good advice and take some direction, especially when they are taking actions using their money. If somebody is giving you money, they would expect you to listen to them, and take some direction. The challenge is actually showing these qualities in a managed theater-like setting, okay, where there's a panel of influential people who are sitting down while you stand in front of them to gain their trust and investment in you and your idea. You're in control in that situation. You need to be able to make an emotional connection. After all, investors are human beings. There has to be a hook for them to get personally interested. The pitch must be orchestrated like a finely tuned performance, because fundamentally it is best understood as professional theatre.
What are the ingredients of any successful pitch?
This is a little hard to explain, Punita. However, we can learn from observing those who are expert pitchers. A pitch usually lasts from anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes, going up to 15 to 20 minutes at the most. It's never usually more than 20 minutes. Let's watch a successful pitch on the famous BBC TV show Dragon's Den, where entrepreneurs with business ideas pitch to dragons or powerful angel investors. Here's a pitch by three brothers on a new grooming product. We can draw out a number of important points from the Mo Bros pitch. First, they were comfortable and very well prepared. You saw that. They were absolutely relaxed. That's really important. You can't show anxiety. They all participated. It was not just one person talking. They maintained eye contact. They appeared sincere and showed confidence in their own abilities and the value of their offering. It's important. If you can't show confidence in your own offering, why would anyone else take you seriously? Second, they gave the dragons just the right amount of detail with facts and figures. It's really important. You have to have your facts and figures straight. They did not hide any numbers. They were precise and showed no hesitation. This is because, think about it from the dragon's perspective. If an entrepreneur cannot take the time to prepare for a pitch properly and get that spot on, then how can they be expected to grow a business, which is far more complex and requires preparedness 100 times greater? Third, they demonstrated a track record, a history of good performance. They weren't asking for an investment in a brainwave, but a proven product that had shown demand. And finally, investors are people just like us. They respond to emotional cues. They want to enjoy the pitch as well. It's not all serious. A little bit of humor and drawing them in with familiarity is exceedingly important. It should not be monotone. It should not be all serious. They should see that the person in front of them is a well-rounded individual who has a range of behaviors and personality traits to handle any kind of difficult situation which might arise in business.
What would be important to remember in the post-pitch question and answer session with your investors?
Once again, Punita, there are numerous subtleties when it comes to answering investor questions. Let's analyze the Mo Bros performance in the after-pitch Q&A with the dragons. Now, if you see, the answer given is quite succinct to a loaded question. The investors will usually question an entrepreneur's valuation of their venture. The only sure way to justify the venture's price tag is through its financial performance. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. I mean, what is your financial performance? And this is what the Mo Bros did. By offering robust previous year's sales figures and future projections, the dragon accepted that the valuation was accurate and offered a compliment to the brothers. And a compliment from the dragons is a real testimony that they were seasoned businessmen. Now here, the dragon is testing the Mo Bros' business acumen. And how well do they know their own business? They have to know their business inside out. That's what the dragon is trying to test here. Then the dragon poses a criticism, highlighting a potential problem. Now the Mo Bros could have been defensive and they could have defended their business and not taken the criticism on board, maybe given an incorrect answer or attempted to cover their tracks. But they didn't. They admitted where the issues lay, and they also highlighted a way through which they could address the problem. Now, what does this tell the dragon about both the venture and the entrepreneurs? What does it signal? That the proposition is adaptable and is in good hands. That the people he might invest into are actually coachable, that they are willing to act on sound advice.
Are there any other ways for entrepreneurs to pitch their businesses?
Certainly. New and digital media 2.0 platforms are creating some interesting opportunities to democratize investment in new businesses. You could be in Uganda or Peru and pitch for investment via the dozens of now active crowdfunding platforms to a global audience. You're not just stuck in your own country anymore. Take Kickstarter, for example, in the case of Nigerian entrepreneur Jide Appiah, who pitched his unique African sneaker business to attract crowdfunding. One of the most important aspects of attracting investment from the crowd is the pitch video. You've got to get that right. This is what people watch before making up their mind on whether or not to invest. People want to be moved by the entrepreneur's story and how the solution being pitched is going to make a difference. How is it better and relevant? It takes many tries and considerable skill to put together an appealing pitch video. Let's take a look at G-Day's Kickstarter pitch. We can draw out some useful lessons from this pitch video. First, crowdfunders would want to know if you have something on the ground and beyond just a mere idea. G-Day, he gave us a tour of his workshops and showed that peaks, how were they made, which is very reassuring to people. It's not just an idea. There's something on the ground. Second, it is about explaining how the brand or the product are different to what already exists. This is very important. People want to back something different, something original, and which cannot be easily copied. Third, people want to get to know the person behind the venture. How are they driven? What are their passions? What experience do they have? What is their ultimate vision? So it is important to be sincere and transparent. Finally, G-Day's pitch moved people emotionally. It promised upward social mobility for those who didn't have enough opportunities on their own. And all of this means that he was able to attract nearly £18,000 from Kickstarter through hundreds of backers. That 18,000 constituted advance orders for his new products.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mary.